Well, hello, you guys, and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be answering that question that is on everybody's lips. Is the Natasha Denona Xenon Palette versatile enough? It is grayscale, it is cool tones, it is what a lot of us have been asking for a while, but did she accidentally dupe herself within the palette? Now, I'm not going to lie, off of first impressions, this palette was kind of giving that scene from Devil Wears Prada, you know?
It's a tough call. They're so different.
But upon further investigation, I was like, oh, there seems to be like a more taupey shade in there. And then there seems to be like a little bit of a pink shade in there just to make it more fun. Well, it's not quite that on the swatches, but we'll get to the eye looks and I'll show you the versatility of it, right? And if it actually shows up pink, what it actually shows up with, because that shade surprised me. I've already filmed the eye looks, but you'll see. Stay tuned. I'll show you that. Before we begin, if you like videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That we get notified when I post more videos like this. And I'm also going to be doing the Huda Beauty Pretty Grunge palette that's coming out soon. That has my name all over it. It's so cute. Also follow me on Instagram and TikTok at ashleyellix. Give this video a thumbs up if you like video styles like this. And I'm ready to dive into it. And if you are too, then let's go, boo. Boop. Let's talk details and specifications real quick. I'll try to talk as quickly as I can to get through this part because I know everybody needs this information, but it's here for you. There you go. It is $69 for the midi size Xenon palette. It's including 15 shades and there are a variety of textures within this palette. So don't let the brand photos fool you. Not only is the color story what it is, but they also have different textures going on. You have your mattes, you have one cream to powder, you have metallics, you have shimmers, you have a topper in there. So I love that versatility. That's what I love about Natasha Denona. She brings us versatile textures and I love it and it's so fun to play with. Where can you get this palette though? Well, you can get it on Sephora's website now and in stores at select Sephora stores. Ulta is also carrying it. Sometimes you can find a coupon that includes Prestige, which is this, or you can go over to Natasha Denona's website and you can use my affiliate code any time of year, which is ashleyellix. Not only on this palette, but anything that you're liking. Even if you just want to get the small Xenon palette, you can get 15% off there year round. You don't have to wait for a sale. And there's also some other more international friendly shipping websites as well. So that is the details. That is the specifications. Swatches. Here are some swatches that I did outdoors so you can see what this palette is looking at least in the sun. And I went ahead and did some side-by-side swatches of the colors that I felt looked really similar. You know, they let me know what you think of those. We're going to test them on my eyes, though, with some different looks and see how similar they actually look when push comes to shove. Because at the end of the day, swatches can tell a part of the story, but the whole story is on our eyes. I could put that on the t-shirt. But there's that. Let me know what you think of it, and let's get to the eye looks. Let's go. So I am actually getting ready for a little Halloween party at my husband's work. So I'm going to do a darker look for this one. Throw on my eye primer. I'm gonna use Alter Ego's eye primer for this. With my fluffy blending brush, I'm gonna dip into Blizzard and we're just going to dust that all over the crease area to get a nice blended base starting. Yeah, this could have a little more pigment in my opinion. It is a very light, almost just a white with a tiny bit of gray added. All right, I was able to build that up a little bit. I can kind of see that it's gray a little bit more. You just might have to do a little bit of layering if you don't have fair skin, if you have anything darker than fair skin. So now let's take the shade, I believe these are kind of cream to powders, but I do want to deepen up the crease a little bit. So I'm going to take the shade Spoosh. I believe that is something about snow. I don't know. And I'm going to take it into the crease to kind of deepen it up. And then I'm going to just blend that out a little bit. Just kind of soften the edge of that line I laid down. Okay, due to the nature of that kind of cream to powder formula, I almost usually like to use it with a fingertip and kind of press it on, but since it's really my only deep shade to blend, it is what it is. I have to use the brush. So what I'm doing now is taking Blizzard, that first transition shade we were using, and just kind of trying to help blend it a little bit more. Now I am going to take Sploosh again, this time on my finger, and kind of rub it onto the outer edges. See, it's a lot darker using it that way, but it's not fully black. I still can't get over the fact that she didn't add blackest black in this palette. It's so weird to me. It's a good thing her pans are magnetic, so I can switch it out with one of my many blackest black. Because that's the thing, I want it really dark. I wonder if I should take Ebb. Has like a sheen to it. This one's not matte. Oh, and I kind of like that. Ooh, yeah, let's do that actually. So the difference, they're like the same tone, okay? But this one has a sheen, that one is completely matte. So slightly different. Are they both necessary? Yeah, I would have rather had a more variation in something, but it is what it is. Okay, and I'm gonna take this brush and spray it so I don't have to use my fingers on the inside. And since I want to keep it kind of darker, let's first go in with Cygnus, which is your metallic black shade. It's picking up good on the brush. I'm not going to bring it all the way to the inner corner though. I'm going to put it right here next to the outer corner that we laid down and just gently blend it in. Blend the outer edges. Spray it again. This time, let's just dip into Stellar, that top one. Very snowflake color. Bring it to the inner corner. And if you like that blown out look like I do, go ahead and sweep it on. Now let's take, I guess, Ebb on that. So I'm going to do that same brush because it's working out really nicely. This is that Melt Night Before Christmas Town brush. And I'm going to just kind of rub it along the lower lash line. And then blend it out. Let me go do the rest of my makeup. I'll be right back. Okay, here's the final look all done. Nice and smoky, but it also kind of pulls a little bit holiday with the way the sparkles are placed on there. And it's a very frosty, really pretty glitter. And that's what I love about Natasha Denona is she brings that glow with her glitters and the metallics. And I love that. Also very minimal fallout. And for a palette like this, that's awesome. I wish I had a black. That's the only thing is like, this is more of a smoky gray, which is nice too. But I can't believe that there's no black in this palette, like true black. And she has the blackest black shade like we talked about. And I just find that so weird. But otherwise, this is a different look and I really enjoy it. Easy enough. You got to work with those kind of creamy powders a little bit, but it is really pretty, has a really good shine. So for this look, it's actually Halloween right now. So I'm getting dressed in my costume. I'm cosplaying as the Mandalorian, which I actually already did with Liz at the Oogie Boogie Bash, California Adventure, Disneyland. But I'm doing it differently with my makeup today. I pretty much just had very minimal makeup that day. Today, I'm gonna incorporate the Xenon palette. It's not gonna be anything crazy, okay? I'm not costume only, but it is gonna be on the darker smoky side, just a halo eye. That's actually, dude, let's take Snert, okay? First of all, let's take that. I got an idea, but things to come. So let's start with this on both the outer corners because we're gonna be doing a halo eye, like I said. That is actually pretty pigmented. I was not expecting that gray to be so deep in a good way. Because in the palette, all these gray tones pretty much look the same, but this is a little darker than it appears in the pan, so that's good. And then let's blend out a little tiny bit. And then go in with Blizzard, which is going to probably be like my favorite blending shade in this palette. The other one has a bit of a taupe to it, which doesn't really fit into the palette necessarily. Kind of interesting. But you know what? Just for testing purposes, let's take that shade. Let's take that shade Flurry, excuse me. It's all like snowy theme and test it out. Yeah, it's kind of like a white taupe almost. Kind of a nothing, but it is actually helping blend. So there's that. It's like a grayish light skin tone. Okay, and then I'm going to take the shade Blizzard onto the lower lash line first. And then go back in with Snert. Just right there to connect the halo. Leaving a space in the middle, of course. Let's just go in with the shade Cygnus. It is your metallic black, and I'm putting that on the base of the mobile lid right there. It's gonna be a very glowy look. I'm gonna have to, my nails won't allow me to reach on the inside, so I'll grab a brush for the inner corner. I'm having flashbacks right now, you guys. Do you remember that awful, in my opinion, Jeffree Star, what is it called? Cemetery palette? No. Crematory? Cremistry? No. The cremated palette. My gosh. Okay, I don't buy from him anymore at all or support him. That was the last palette I purchased, and wow, was it awful. Like, oh my goodness. I don't purchase from him anymore from, you know, a myriad of reasons. But my gosh, that palette was so bad. That's not why this is reminding me of that. It's like, this is what I wanted that palette to do. That palette was such a mess. I had to like layer up and it was flaking all over the place and it was creasing. It was just so bad. This is actually going on so easy. So the color story is what it reminds me of. The color story of that palette. And everybody was really excited for that. But the performance was awful. So this one gives you a good performance, you know? So that's good. That's good. So I'm going to take that same brush because it's working out well, wet it a little bit again. And then, what did I use already? What do I need to use? I want to take this shade Snowball just to see how that looks, but let's take the shade Super Ionic. So it's kind of a mix, huh, of snow and celestial outer space. I'll put that in the middle. Okay, so it's not more of a mid-tone. No. Okay, and I'm going to put that all over the middle part. It's not giving as much definition as I thought, so I think I'm going to switch it up in a second here. It has like the same silver as the glitter does on the base black that I did, the kind of black glitter. So what I'm going to do to spice it up a little bit is go in with Neve. I think that's how you say it. And I need to wet my brush again. My fingers work best, but we can't do that with these nails as easily. So let's take that on the wet brush and put it in the middle, in the center. Help give it more of a pop. Ooh, yeah. And then bring it up a little bit. I would skip Super Ionic if you want to do this look. Just go straight in with Nivy, whatever. You just get a little bit more glow, a little bit more dimension. That's really pretty. And then wet my brush a little bit more for the lower lash line halo. Yeah, so I'm like only have like the tiniest bit of fallout just on one side, so I was probably being a little bit sloppy over there. So that's good. For black and glitters, that's what I like. Not as much crazy fallout. Okay, so that's looking really pretty. I'm loving the vibe, loving the look. It's been so long since I did a halo eye, and it is really gorgeous. So let me go do the rest of my makeup, show you what it looks like, all done. Yeah. Well, don't I feel pretty in this makeup with this hair, the whole thing. Okay, so one more thing we got to do for this look is to the inner corner. You know, still got it. Old habits die hard. And this completes the look, okay? So there is that look for you. Let me know what you're thinking about that so far. And let's hop into the next look. For this look, I'm gonna go in and do my kind of signature eye look I've been doing this year. I feel weird saying that, but it's like my go-to. My go-to, it's like a very fairy ethereal look because of the shimmers in here. And I wanna use the different shimmer on each side. That way, I know we did the swatches, but I wanna see, like, can you really tell a difference between the two eyes? So let's do that. I'm gonna first start with the shade Snowbow because I feel like that's a shade that is on everybody's mind because it looked so pink in the promo pictures. In person, it's more of a like a silver pink shift, but it was hard to tell in the swatches. So let's see it on the eyes. And I'm just taking it with my finger like you saw. I have my primer laid down already, and we're just gonna slap it right here on the mobile lid. Okay, that's interesting. It's almost kind of like a bluey, and then with the pink in there, it kind of turns it purpley. So that is interesting, actually. It's definitely picking up more on the eyes than I thought it would be able to do, so that's good. It's a tricky shade. Yeah, very pretty though. And then on the other side, let's take Scurfed, which is the one on the bottom corner, because I think that almost is the one that's gonna look the most similar on the eye. And it's more of your nude kind of silver. Has a bit of like a brown base to it. Still on the transparent base though. It's like a little bit of brown transparent base, if that makes sense. No, but I can see a difference. I definitely can. And then on the inner corner, back on the more pink side, let's go in with Rim. I think that's how you say it. I'm probably messing up all of these words. And I'm gonna pop it into the inner corner right there. Yeah, nice and bright bright white with a sheen. It's not quite a shimmer. And on the other side, I'm going to go in with Navy, because that's the one that looks the most similar. Basically, texture-wise, it's just different. Oh, yeah. See, this is why. This is why it's good to do this. Just for the inner corners for a moment, you see rim is more of, like I said, a white sheen, not quite as pigmented, more of a light dusting. And then Navy is going to be your more impactful type of shimmer that has a lot more glitter going on, a bit more of a glow. Let me take it with a brush. Let's see if it works good without getting wet. And what I like to do is sweep it right up here. Yeah, see, that's working without getting it wet. And I bet if we get it wet, it's gonna really, really be glowing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, it's really pretty. Okay, and then let's wipe that off and go back in and do the same thing with, maybe it's rhyme, like lime with an R. Yeah. Sweep it right up here. This is what makes it kind of like my go-to fairy look this year, is it's kind of like a dusting, blown out glitter effect in the middle. Yeah, definitely different. Definitely different. Let's spray this one and see if we can build it and if it looks the same. I don't need it to look the same. I just kind of want to make sure, you know, we're getting a lot of variety in this $69 palette. Okay. Yeah, that's really pretty, but it's still different enough, so that's good. This is like your snow dusting kind of shade. Like the first snow, you wake up in the morning and your car just has that light little frosty dust on it, like it snowed for a little bit, but it's not, didn't quite dump on you. This is more of a dump. This is more of your 6 inches of snow happening. It's currently snow flurrying. This is a light frosty dust, okay? This is like what you see dusting on the flowers in your garden that you forgot to get ready for winter and winterize. But look at that. So hopefully you can see the difference in those two. Do you see how pink and glowy that one is? It's hard to say pink. Lavender. Think lavender, like a very frosty light lavender. It comes across on the eyes because you have a slightly pink translucent base, and then you have the more blue tone silvers in there that creates this lavender icy look. But I say that with a grain of salt. It's like a leaning pink lavender. It's a very unique shade, hard to describe. I'm glad it's showing up more on my eyes than it was in the swatches because it's really, really pretty. And I don't have anything like that in my collection. And then same thing with this more of a nude side with Scurf. That one is coming across more brownie nude, but light, a light tone. Let's actually see if we can beef it up by wetting the brush. Usually the fingers work just fine, but yeah, it kind of makes it more of a glossy finish that way, more impactful. But do you see how it has more of a neutral brown transparent base in there versus this side? Good. Good. Okay, so just to complete this look and get it like well-rounded, what I would normally do actually, I don't see, maybe take Gruyere, isn't that a type of cheese? And I would just rub it onto the lash line right there, just so it doesn't look like it has a hard stop. And we can compare another shade in there. You'll see how mid-tone gray that is compared to the lighter shimmers. Yeah, so then I would throw on some mascara and call it, but then you can see all the different tones in there. They're definitely different than I thought they were going to be. So that's really exciting. I'm going to take this off really quickly though. I just want to compare those and we're going to do one more final look. I'll see what I'm going to come up with and we're going to see what it is for number 5. Let's go. I haven't done like a light lid color kind of look in a while. So I'm going to take Contrail and we're going to do that, I think, at least for a little bit, at least for part of the eye. And I already have my primer down. Again, I'm just using the Alter Ego primer. And I'm going to stick it on with this flat packing brush. Nice, pigmented and opaque. Do I wish this was just a white shade? I do. But I know then you get people that are mad that there's a white shade in here. So I can't win. You know, can't please everybody. This is almost there though. I'm just going to take it to about 3/4 of the way on the lid. taking it up to the crease and kind of just dusting it to blend, but I'm doing little patting motions instead of windshield wiper motions. Okay, that's pretty. And you could continue that, but because I want to use so many things, well, let's just test this really quick because Flurry looks like it could be a taupey gray, but I don't know. Let's just pop it right here next to it. Honestly, just to see the difference. It's so minor. It's so minor. This one just comes across a little bit more of a white cast. That one's tiny bit grayer. Not quite taupe, but probably good for a transition shade. That's really what it would be good for. Now, so let's get back to being serious. Let's take Snort. It's like a Dr. Seuss word. A snorp. I'm going to take it on the outer corner, of course. Just gently blend it into the other shade. Okay, now to make sure I get a nice blend, I'm taking more of a pointed, fluffy brush and just blending that out. Down here as well. Getting a nice wing shape on there. Now I'm going to take Snort again onto the lower lash line, just bring it all the way over. And let's go in with Rhyme on the inner corner. I am realizing now too, so we have Contrail that we used. I tested Flurry, which is more similar on the eyes than it is on my finger right now. I also realized Blizzard. It's kind of the two together. A tiny bit more gray, but you know, they're very, very close when it comes to performance. So just keep that in mind. There you go. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to finish off this look. I'm going to wrap up my final thoughts. I got some notes taken down. I got some pros and cons. We're going to go over all that. So here's the final look, all complete. I went ahead and did a wing. Don't look too hard. It has been a minute and I had some mess ups, but I did my best, okay? And I just did my regular mascara lashes. I didn't want to bother with throwing on fake lashes for this look, mostly because I have a headache right now and I can't do it. But nonetheless, I really like how this look turned out, you guys, and I want to discuss everything we talked about answering today, which the number one question, is it versatile enough? This rakes in a $69 price point. It is pricey, but we don't want to get too repetitive when we're paying that much. So in my opinion, from what I've experienced out of the 5 different looks that I created today, for me, it's versatile enough that I can get different looks. It's not just the same look one after another. It's a similar vibe most of the time because you're working with cool gray tones. But to me, that's kind of like the same as using a neutral brown palette. How versatile can that be, right? This is just your gray tones, your cool tones that we are really lacking in the beauty space most of the time. So Natasha Denona, I feel, answered that. You got a lot of varieties of different textures and finishes. Really, when it comes down to the color tone, a couple are a little too close for my liking, but it's something that I can still make work. So versatile enough? I think so, as long as you like the color story and you're willing to make it work. But just off of first glance, if you just throw something on there, you might feel like you're getting repetitive. Does that make sense? Is it a perfect palette? No, there are two things that I would change about that, just because what I experienced, like the darker tones, Ebb, Sploosh, and Night Sky, they look very similar. They also, all three have a sheen. They're different. But at first glance, they're not, you know? So for me personally, I just wish one of those was a true matte, because the closest one is Sploosh in the middle, or Spoosh, and it looks like it would be matte, but because it's that cream to shadow formula, it has a sheen to it. So I really, really wish that she either just put Blackest Black in here. I feel like this palette is missing a true black, or at least came up with a new black, maybe just a regular powder, because Blackest Black is a cream to powder, just a true matte black. Taking out one of those grays that look the same to me, because Contrail and Blizzard look a lot alike. Take out one of those, put a true white in. Probably just take out contrail and put a true white. I know though, some people would be upset, like I mentioned during the looks, because they're gonna say, I already have a black and a white. I don't need that in the pan. And I know that the original mini size 5-pan Xenon actually has the blackest black shade in there. So I was actually hoping that would be in here, but I know some people that have that would be probably annoyed that it's doubles, but that's like, that's one of her singles that she sells because people like it so much. So I would have really liked to have that in here. I have one. So what I'm personally going to do to make this a more perfect palette is take it out of my Dream palette and pop it in here since these are magnetic. That way I'll get more versatility then. But if you don't have that already, then that's kind of annoying. But you can buy it as a single, just so you know that is available. And then with a white shade, I'm going to look in my collection, my palettes from her, see if I have any whites that I can pop in instead. And then honestly, then it would be perfect and extremely versatile to me. This is versatile, like I said, enough. I think we got a lot of fun looks, but let's talk pros and cons. It kind of touches on that, but let's go into depth a little bit more. I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget, especially with this old owie noggin that I have right here. I get a lot of headaches, so today's that day. Pros, honestly, same amazing Natasha Denona formula that we've come to know and love. This is nothing different. So if you have some of her palettes before, if you love the way her glitters glow, her shimmers shine, then you're gonna like this formula just as well. When it comes to gray tones, blacks, even a lot of glittery products, I get a lot of fallout with other brands. With this palette, it's no different than her other palettes in that I experienced very little fallout. And with grays, and I wanna say black, but there's no true black in here. With those deeper tones, usually you get a lot of fallout. I didn't really experience much with this at all. So that is a pro in my book. If you want a smoky eye look, but you tend to get really messy with it, this palette is a more user-friendly palette in that way that you're not going to get too messy, you know? Another pro is if you're looking for a gray scale palette, if you're looking for a true cool tone palette, there's no warmth in this palette, okay? You're gonna get that with this. It's at your higher price point, but for me, in my opinion, this is the best gray scale palette that I have used, hands down. So if this is something that you use all the time and you can justify that $69 price point, then this is a beautiful one. Just like I said, if you want to make it a perfect palette, you know, and you don't mind spending the extra money, get your black and your white just to really make it a completely well-rounded gray scale palette. Cons, we do need to talk about cons. You're missing a true black and a white. So that's my only con. It would have been really cool if she actually did the cream to powder formula in a white, because that's another shade that I feel like nobody ever does. You know, whites can be really tricky. I mean, honestly, that shade is so pretty. I see no patchiness at all, but it would help it to last even longer and stick even better if it had that formula that she has perfected. Oh, it would have been perfect. My eyes just did like a weird thing. My headache is probably a problem right now. Okay, so also a couple shades, you know, could have been switched out to accommodate for those black and white to make it a perfect palette. A couple of them are just a little too similar to my liking. Once we put them on the eyes, you can see a little bit more difference with it. But like I mentioned already in the versatility part, is that those black shades, all three on the eyes, can come across a little too similar. Even just a different texture would have been better. Like I said, a matte. Also, another con, I feel like, especially if you don't use these colors a lot, you just need something really simple. You could probably get most of these looks accomplished with her 5-pan mini size Xenon palette. There, I said it. It is what it is. So if you're looking for an expansion pack, you know, this will expand that little mini set. But if you're just looking for a little bit of grays, a little bit of black, something to be a companion to your other palettes, honestly, just go with the 5-pan. You know, if this is too much for you, if you feel like there's not enough versatility for your liking in this, just go with that one. Go with the original, because honestly, it's gonna get the job done, and you can actually probably take that palette, get a couple other little singles of some shimmers that you like, and create a lot of these similar looks that we did today, or get similar shades, you know, duping in whatever you're missing from this. You know what I mean? So some pros and cons there for you. Hopefully that helps in not only your decision making, but if you actually already purchased this, I hope that that helped you create some new looks and inspiration. If this video was helpful for you, please give it a little thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss out on my future videos, which I am getting in the mail real soon here, the Huda Beauty Pretty Grunge palette, which looks beautiful, you guys. I thought it was going to be so similar to this, but now that I've seen all the photos of it now, it's pretty different. It's pretty grunge. It's like pretty grunge, you know, not full grunge. My eyes, you guys, I feel like Okay, I gotta wrap this up. They're like blinking at different times. The headache, the migraine is setting in. I gotta go. Make sure you follow me on TikTok and Instagram at ashleyellix, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.